What up, Fit Gang? It's your girl NayFit, and today I'm going to answer some of the fitness questions you left for me and some personal on my Insta story. I put up a Insta story telling you, ask me anything personal, fitness related, whatever, and y'all left me hundreds of questions, so I'll try to do as many as I can. Like my little fake background right here? Yeah. We're in a tropical forest today. Okay. The best foods to lose belly fat. So there are no foods that you can eat to lose belly fat. That's just not how that works. It's the amount of food that you eat. And a lot of people like to count their calories according to their macros, which are fats, carbs, and proteins. So that's just the easier way to count it. So you have to figure out what your BMI is and then figure out what the amount of calories you consume per day based off the activity that you do, whether you live a sedentary lifestyle, your active lifestyle, or kind of like in the middle, maybe have a job where you walk around a lot but you don't really work out at all, so it wouldn't be like sedentary where you're just literally sitting down like just watching TV all day or something like that. So it's going to be based off of that. Then you're going to take that number that you get, and if you're trying to gain weight, you're going to add 500 or 600 calories to that, and that would be the amount of calories per day that you need to consume in order to gain mass. And if you're trying to lose weight, you want to subtract 500 or 600 calories from that to start off to decide what your caloric deficit would need to be in order for you to lose weight. So it's not about if I eat a pineapple, it's going to burn my belly fat. That's not how that works. It's just not going to do that. It's about burning more calories than you consume. If you burn more calories than you consume, then your body is going to start to feed on the storage fats that you have in your body, so that belly starts to go away. But if you have belly fat and you're constantly consuming more than you burn, so say you work out and you burn this many calories a day, but you consume more than you burn, that means you're putting more weight back on because you're in a surplus. But if you burn a bunch of calories that day, but you only consume this much, then your body's like, yo, we need more energy. What's up with that? And when your body doesn't have that energy from food, it's going to start feeding on your stored fats. And slowly but surely, you're going to start losing weight because your body is going to use the fats stored in your body as fuel versus using the food that you consume into your body as its energy source. So that's how you lose weight. It has nothing to do with eating a magic pineapple, which would be amazing. I wish it worked like that. Tips for bulking, please. So again, when it comes to bulking, you have to be in a caloric surplus in order to bulk. So if you're burning more calories than you're consuming, then your body has nothing to build muscle with, because now your body's like, oh, we don't have enough calories, so it's going to start feeding on your stored fats, and it's going to feed on the fats, and then it's going to start, after it feeds and breaks down fats and carbs and things like that, it's going to start breaking down proteins, which is what you need to build muscle, and that's not good. So you have to be in a caloric surplus in order to put on mass. So you need to be consuming more than you burn, which means you're obviously not going to have a super flat shredded tummy or anything like that while you're trying to put on mass, because you're consuming more than you're burning. But you will be able to put on muscle. You can worry about, cutting and losing body fat later on, but you have to bulk up and you have to build muscle first. So first thing first, you have to consume more than you're burning. So you're going to have to increase your protein intake, because proteins are the building blocks for muscle building. You don't want to go into a caloric surplus of like carbs and everything, because carbs are going to break down into glucose, which is going to break down into storing as fats because of insulin production and everything in your body, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So you do need carbs, good, healthy carbs, for energy and things like that. But the thing that you want to focus on the most is consuming proteins. And when I'm telling you proteins, I'm talking about you want heavy proteins like beef and chicken and turkey, things like that. If you eat a lot of fish and stuff like that, which is not a bad thing, but I typically switch to fish when I'm cutting, when I want to lean out, because fish is not a heavy enough protein to really build muscle. It doesn't really help in that it's kind of like one of those like empty calories. It just really just doesn't stick to you, you know? You want to have something beef, something really heavy that's going to like break down your body. Your body's going to take that and bind those proteins to your muscle fibers and just thicken them up and just build up. So you want a good heavy protein. And of course you want your good carbs like, you know, jasmine rice, brown rice, sweet potatoes, things like that. You have to have, you know, fats in your diet because carbs are a non-essential macro. You don't actually have to have carbs to survive. You will be cranky, but you don't need them to survive. But you do have to have fats and you do have to have protein for your body to function. So increase your protein intake. That is my best advice for bulking. And then of course lift heavy because your muscle fibers have to be stressed in order to open. You have your muscle fibers, they're here. And say you're lifting just body weight or whatever all day, just lifting body weight. That's not stressing your muscles out enough to like open the muscle fiber. You walk around with your body weight all day. I'm a good 170 to 174 pounds. My body fluctuates between 170 and 174. But if I'm just lifting my own body weight all day, I walk around with my own body weight all day, my body's not stressed out by that. I need to add weight on. If I'm squatting, lifting, or whatever, you need to add weight on so that your body's like, oh shoot, I'm stressed. And when it stresses, it literally tears the muscle, essentially pulls open, tears open the muscle fibers. And then you want to consume your protein. Some people like protein shakes, not my thing. And then other people, you know, like myself, I think whole foods, which means real food, is the best way to put the protein intake back into your body. So you get your protein in your body breaks it down, and it uses those proteins to bind to the muscle fibers. It binds to the muscle fibers like, think of like maybe a scab. You have a wound and it opens up, right? And you want it to heal. So you take it, put your Neosporin or whatever on in your body, you know, natural platelets and everything, go to the area and it starts to bind back together. But when it does, it's going to create like a little scab over top of it, which that's the thickening part. The scab over top of it to protect it, right? So that's the proteins binding to the muscle fibers and it thickens it. And slowly but surely that muscle fiber goes from here, you got your little skinny legs, to thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. It's going to grow that muscle by thickening the muscle fiber. And so that's how I relate it in my brain and how I think about growing my muscle. So you have to be in a caloric surplus. You have to lift heavy enough in order to stress that muscle enough to open up, receive the protein, and then grow. And that's why it's important not to, people say, oh, can I do legs 4, 5, 6 times a week? You know what I'm saying? Well, no. First of all, it takes the central nervous system 24 to 48 hours to recover. So like making that scab, if you open the muscle fibers and the proteins are getting all in there, right? Like, okay, cool. And they're trying to like grow back together and they're trying to like mesh back together and things like that. And then the next day you go and train legs again, you're ripping it back open. So that's like, oh, my scab's starting to form, but I tear it back off. My scab's starting to form, the next day you tear it back off. It's not going to grow. So you have to give your body time to recover, bind back together, heal back up, and then it's ready to go again. But if you continuously, I'm just going to keep training, I'm going to overtrain, you're not going to get that. Now you're going to see, like, after a workout, if you notice how your legs look thicker, your butt might look bigger and things like that, it does because of blood. Blood rushes to, just like if you have any kind of abrasion or anything like that, you'll see it gets red. That's because the blood rushes to the area. It's going to the area to send platelets and all that thing like that to protect it and things like that. But with the muscle, its blood is going to the area and it swells it up. And the area swells. So your leg is going to look thicker and full. That's why it's the best time to take your post-workout selfie is right after you get a good workout in the gym and you're working out, your legs are nice and full of blood because you're going to look thicker and you're going to look fuller. So the blood's all in the area, you're looking thicker, you're looking fuller, you take your little post-workout selfie, like, bam, bam. And then you notice maybe an hour or two after your workout, it's gone again. You're like, damn, what happened to all that, like, the good pump I had? And it's gone. And it's because the blood's not there anymore, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't go away. And then that might, in your head, make you think, oh, I need to do legs again because, oh, what happened to my pump and stuff? But those aren't the same. Muscle growth and having a pump are not the same thing. They're not the same. So you have to give the central nervous system, you have to give the body, you have to give the muscles time to recover, bind back together, start to heal so that you can do it all over again. I say that any muscle you want to grow, you need to train 2 times a week. That gives you time for it to recover. So train legs Monday. I always train leg on Monday. And then Tuesday, do another muscle group. And then maybe come back to them Wednesday. Or maybe Thursday, come back to legs. And bang it out. It depends on how intense your workouts are. Workout intensity matters. If your workouts aren't very intense, maybe you can train them 3 times a week. But if you're really putting in a good leg workout, you're really not gonna really want to train them 3-4 times a week. And that's another telling thing to me when one of my clients or somebody asks me, can I train my legs 4 or 5 times a week? You're obviously not getting in quality workouts if you're asking me that. Because after my leg workouts, some days I just can't walk. I have a hard time getting up my stairs and everything. The last thing I want to do is train legs again. So, yeah, that's how that works. Next question. Would you date a man shorter than yourself? I'm not tall. I'm only 5'4". Despite what Instagram makes me look like, for some damn reason, it makes me look like a giant. I am not. I'm only 5'4". So a man shorter than me is quite a short man. That means he would be like 5'3". No, I don't think so. I've dated shorter guys. Like, I've dated a guy who was like 5'6". Under 5'4" would be really weird. I don't know. No. It's a no. Best way to front squat. Like, what should my hands be doing? So I know of 2 different hand positions when front squatting that work for me. I don't know if you know another one that might work for you, but a lot of people take the bar. Of course, your bar is going to be sitting here on your shoulders. I like to sit mine higher up on my collarbone, not to where it's choking me, but like right here, just because I like the balance. And also, I have this weird thing that for some reason when I work out, my shoulders sweat like crazy. I don't know why. If you ever watch my workout videos, you notice my shoulders are mad glossy. It looks dumb. I don't know why, but my shoulders, I can have a sleeveless shirt on too, and my shoulders are just shining. But so I prefer to use the stability of my collarbone and my neck to kind of like hold it up. And then of course I put my hands up here. And I'll explain why, like the crossover method. So I put my bar here. I use my broom. So I take my bar, I sit it up here like this. I don't know if you can see that. I sit it up here and I cross my arms over like this. Some people can put their thumb under if they want to. I don't really do that. I kind of do it like this and like that. Then you can squat down like this. And I keep like that, okay? Now the other way that some people like to front squat is to do it like this. Now I can do it this way if I'm using a really light weight. Put your hands under like this. I just happen to have really tiny wrists and really weak wrists, I assume. And so this method doesn't really work that well for me. One, because I can't really lower it here because that's awkward. You need to keep your elbows up. So you don't really have your chest and collarbone and everything like that to rest on. Keep it here. and then you squat that way. But those are the two ways that are commonly used for front squatting. If you know another great way, let me know. But I stick to what's comfortable for me, and my go-to is always this. How big is your butt? I don't even know how to answer that question. What do you mean, how big is my butt? My hip measurement is 45 and a half. So I'm a 34D, 26, 27, depends on what I eat that day. I've lost 60 pounds, but I'm still kind of jiggly. What is the best way to tighten and tone? Well, you have to understand there's a difference between muscle, fat, and then your skin. Those are all different things. So if you have loose skin and the skin is jiggly and things like that, that has nothing to do with working out. I've asked several doctors, do those creams work, or to tighten and tone skin, do anything like that, does that work? And the answer is no. Once skin loses elasticity, it can't be regained. So the only way to get rid of the loose skin situation is to have it surgically removed, especially if you lose a lot of weight, have it surgically removed, or put on more weight to fill the space. And you can do that in with muscle instead of fat, of course, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to gain your fat back. Now to tighten and tone, like I said, when you gain muscle and you put muscle on, it will fill up that space and you won't be as jiggly, and hopefully your body fat percentage continues to come down, which the fat is the jiggling part and the firmness is the muscle. So the more lean muscle mass you have, the firmer you're going to be, and the more body fat you have, the more jiggly you're going to be. And if you have a nice balance of fat and muscle, then you have a really sexy jiggle, you know, versus the cellulite jiggle. There's just nothing wrong with any of that. To each his own, however you like your body. So the less amount of fat you have between your skin and your muscle layer, the more toned and tight you're going to look. So my body fat percentage is very low. So that's why you're able to see the curves of my muscles when you look at my body, because there's no fat between these two things. Muscles create curves. Fat creates dimples, craters, and, you know, cellulite and things like that. Muscles are round. Muscles are shapely. So the less fat you have between your muscle and your skin layer, the more curvy, toned, and tight you're going to be. How can I eat what I want and still lose weight? That's not a thing, really, unless you're born with that body type, and those body types are called mesomorphs. I happen to fall into that category. And not many. There's fewer people who fall into the mesomorph category, which are people who put on muscle quite easily, where they call them easy gainers, and have trouble keeping on fat and things like that. It doesn't come easily to a mesomorph. So you'll be able to eat what you want and still lose weight if you were born with that particular body type. If you're not born with that particular body type, you're going to have to try harder, which means you're going to have to go on a weight loss diet versus a weight gaining diet, or versus maintaining or maintenance diet. I survive on a maintenance diet. I know how many calories I can consume to maintain my physique in the way that is. I know what I need to do if I decide, hey, I want to put on 10 pounds, then I know how to change my diet and increase my caloric intake so that I can put on the weight. And I know what I need to do if I decide, hey, I want to go into a caloric deficit and I want to lose some weight. So you have to understand your body type, and know what your limitations are. Not everybody is going to be lucky enough to be able to eat what they want and still lose weight. It's just unfortunate. It's just not how the world works. We all have different body types, different backgrounds, different genetics, and if you're not set up like that, you're just not set up like that. So That's how that works. How much water do you drink a day? I tell my clients, I can't tell you how much water I drink a day because I don't measure anything like that. In theory, in my mind, I drink a gallon of water a day. Is what I attempt to do, but I definitely don't count it or pay any kind of attention to it at this point in my career. I'm not competing or doing anything like that anymore, so it's just not something I give a whole lot of attention to. But naturally, I only drink coffee. I drink coffee in the morning and water. So I only drink two things. So I guess I drink a lot of water because I drink throughout the day, and I really only drink water. So about a gallon a day. I say for a male, though, a good size, average size male, a gallon and a half a day is what you want to drink. And the reason for drinking the water, not only because your body's 70% water and you need it for your organs and your brain and everything to function, but also because the water is going to flush out toxins in your body, and especially if you have a high sodium diet or anything like that, the more sodium content that you consume, the more you're going to retain water, and the more you retain water and your muscles and things like that, the more you're going to bloat. It's going to cause bloating and swelling in this area. The swelling of the tissues and stuff going to give you like a bloated look, and that's not a look most people are going for. So the more water you consume, the more it's going to flush out and keep your balance in your body, so that you can rid yourself of that bloat. Some people are like, oh my God, I drank some water and now I'm bloated. But that's not what that is. It's your body is just retaining the fluid. You ate too much sodium, or your diet is off and not balanced. And then when you drink the water, now you feel bloated because your body's retaining it. But if you were to drink more water and be more consistent about it, it would actually be flushing it out of your body, and you would have a consistent balance, and then you wouldn't be having that bloating situation. So you didn't bloat because you drink the water. You were going to bloat before you drank the water. Your body was just waiting for it so that it could keep it, because you're not drinking enough. Do I train every day? Hell no. I wouldn't even think to train every day. No. What is your pre-warm-up post-stretch routine? Everybody who asks me this on my Instagram page already knows that I have a bad habit of not warming up or stretching. Me, I consider my workout, because I do 4 or 5 sets of each exercise that I do. Like if, say, I'm squatting, I'll go in there. My first set of squats would be nothing on the bar, and I have to do that personally because I have horrible knees. They crack, they pop, they have issues. They're painful, all kinds of things. I have really terrible knees, so if I go and just throw weight on the bar and just start squatting, I'm not gonna feel very good. So my first set is usually nothing's on the bar. Go ahead and do 12-15 reps of that, maybe 20 reps of that, just to go on and get my knees, depending on how I feel. If I'm really stiff that day, I'll do 20, 30 of those just to get warmed up and just to get the blood flowing and my joints moving. And then the next set, I'll go and throw a little bit more weight on there, do another set, and then I'll start with my real workout and things like that. But my first 1 or 2 sets, I guess I could consider a warm-up. And then post-workout stretch, I don't do that at all. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I don't stretch. Which I don't think that's a great idea either. You should stretch. I'm not perfect. Okay. How many times a week do I train? 3. If I train 3 times a week, that's a good week. If I train 4 times a week, that's a great week. But I'm a busy woman, so it don't always work out that way. Today's Thursday. I trained Monday, Tuesday. I took Wednesday off. I took today off. I've only trained twice this week, and I don't work out on weekends. So, is is there an imbalance in my quads if I can do more weight with leg extensions than with squats? No, that's not what that means. I don't even know how you would compare those two. That doesn't really make sense because the bar alone weighs 45 pounds. What kind of leg extensions are you doing? I don't know. I will come back to that question because that doesn't, I need more information. Can I convince my girlfriend to work out with me? Well, if your girlfriend does not want to work out, then you probably shouldn't force her to do it. I mean, what if I wanted you to get your nails done with me every week and you didn't want to? Would you want me to force you to do it? No. So you shouldn't do that. Maybe. Now, if she's sitting around complaining like, this girl's my body goals and she's my body goals and I want to look like this and that, or I need to lose weight and stuff. Now, if she's constantly complaining and things like that, and she's just procrastinating, then I would, either tell her to set a goal. Hey, baby, you see, you said you want to look like this. This is pretty nice. Like, I know a trainer at my gym who could help you out, or I could show you a few things, that you might like and it might get you right. Or start off slow, like get her some resistance bands for at home and show her some things she can do. Like, babe, try these squats with these resistance bands and things like that. And then maybe she'll get the bug and she'll start feeling like, ooh, I'm seeing some results. I'm feeling tighter. I'm feeling kind of sexy. And then, of course, after she does it, load her up with compliments now. Like, damn, baby, that booty getting fat, shawty. You looking good. Like, if you boost her up and make her feel good about herself, she will feel like whatever she's doing is getting her results, or she'll feel like whatever she's doing is a positive thing. And the more positive she thinks the thing is she's doing, the more she's going to want to do it. Especially if you're giving her all kind of love and attention about it, I say she wants to fix her butt or her legs, and you notice the exercise she's doing is making her butt and her legs look good, so give her butt and her legs a lot of attention when you see her that night, a little motorboat, a little something, might boost her confidence. You should do that. Yeah. Exercises should I do per muscle? Oh, that's a good question. It's not how many exercises necessarily, it's how many sets you should be doing per muscle. Okay. Actually, I'm lying. It depends on a muscle group. So we have smaller muscle groups and we have larger muscle groups. Shoulders, biceps, those are smaller. Triceps or calves, those are smaller muscle groups. Whereas your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your back, chest, things like that. I don't know if chest is considered small or large. I don't work my chest at all, so. But depends on the muscle group. It depends on how many insertion points the muscle group has. It depends on the look you're going for. So let's go with a smaller muscle group like your shoulders. The shoulders have 3 heads. I just spit. As the anterior delt, the medial delt, and your rear delt. So if you go in there and you just do flies this way, you just do, maybe some front raises, and some shoulder press or something like that, you have not hit your rear delt at all. You've hit a little medial, you hit a little front. You didn't completely work the muscle group. You know what I'm saying? So you need to do as many exercises as you need to do to completely work that muscle group. So you need to do something that makes it feel complete. You need to work the front delt, your medial delt, and your rear delt. So do a couple exercises, 3 or so. And then even if you don't know that many exercises for each head of the muscle, make sure you do them with intensity and make sure you do them thoroughly. Just don't go through the motions. Make sure you're using a good amount of weight and make sure you're doing a thorough, good, intense movement when you're doing it so that you can get the most out of it. But you definitely want to focus on the muscle as in a complete way. So yeah, it all depends. Like the quads, your quads, that's 4 different muscles. So you could just do squats, but that's gonna work your back. It's gonna work your quads. It's gonna work your hamstrings, your calves. It's working. That's a compound exercise. It's working a whole lot of your body. So it's not focusing at all on all 4 heads, all the insertion points at all. It's not doing that. So you need to do things like hack squat, and different things like that to work every single part. So that could be a lot. And that's why people do splits and things like that. I like to do a quad and glute day, and then the next leg day do a hamstring and glute day, so I can make sure I thoroughly hit all of it. You know, it depends on the look you're going for. If I'm competing, then you're going to be way more thorough and way more specific, because all of that needs to show while you're on stage, because it's an aesthetic competition. But if you're just working out to look good, feel good, things like that, then you might not want to go into so much detail and just doing, you know, some squats, some leg extensions, some lunges, and, you know, some deadlifts or something like that might be enough for you to make sure your legs look good enough for you. So it all depends on what look you're going for and things like that. If I were creating a program for you, I would have that information though, and I would know what look you're going for and how specific you're trying to get. But without that kind of information, I really can't answer that question. That was actually a good but specific question. So that was not that many questions, and we're already 23 minutes in. Damn. So I will continue to answer more questions, and I'll get back to you. Like literally, I don't think we answered like maybe 5 or 6 questions, and it took 23 minutes. So you see how detailed this can get. And I want y'all to know, when y'all asking me questions online and stuff, and you might feel like, oh, why didn't she answer my question and stuff like that? Because the way that I consider these things, I want to give you the right answer, and I want to give you a thorough answer. And I start thinking about it, and the detail that I can go into, honey, you could be there all night with just one question. Like literally. And that's why I tell y'all, sign up for the programs. Click the link, so I can get more in depth with you and more in tune with you, because I can go all day. All day. And I can do it for free if I like to, but you know, who doesn't like to get paid for their talent and for what they're good at and for what their job is? And you know, I prefer to spend more time with you than, you know, a couple minutes for a question, because I could literally, each question I already answered, I could literally go into way more detail about it. We would just be here all night. So you still have time to join the 28-day challenge. So join the challenge. Click the link in my bio, NayFitnessUniversity.com, and look out for 2020. I got some things coming for you. This year was crazy, so I didn't get to implement all the things I wanted to, but I have merch coming for you, equipment coming for you, all kind of stuff, and I've been working on it, and that's why I kind of been chill. I went through a period where I wasn't posting a whole lot, but I'm always working. Nana's always working. I'm working for you. So, yeah. Click the link. Click the link. Follow me on Instagram. Check out my YouTube because I'll be posting the rest of these questions on YouTube because there's no way that I can do it all here. So, on Instagram. But I love you guys. I love you, Fit Gang. Thank you for tuning in. Don't talk about my fake ass background. And good night.